Hi, this is Khalid from Imani Sustainable Solutions, Imani Housing Culture, Imani Housing Culture. Really, this is just to kind of give you a brief rundown of what we've been talking a lot about and advocating is a talent development framework. And what I want to do in this little small presentation is to give you an idea behind the concept and how we believe that framing work around a talent development framework may prove a lot more successful, especially when speaking about meaningful engagement with participants who are looking to local organizations, community groups, charitable organizations, organizations that work with people to help them in their development process in terms of accessing resources. It can provide, let's say, an underlying framework, for the want of a better word, that can potentially piece together the work that you do with that individual. And if it's a specific area, can help them frame their own pathway to potentially what they want to achieve. Now, I've got a few slides here or a few documents on my desktop, and I'm going to try and bring them into this presentation here. So help me, I'm going to be reading some stuff right off of the documents that we've written can give you potentially a better understanding. Now, excuse me because I've got a lot on my desktop, but let's go into this one first of all. So yeah, I mean, first of all, what is a talent development framework? I wrote a brief blog post on my website, and really, I suppose I would describe talent development as a positive approach towards capacity building for, I'd say, young people in general. It says young people at risk here, but you know, what is youth? I mean, you can pick anything away from teenagers all the way up to 50, and I think the concept itself is adaptable and flexible, as I'll most probably go on to. So our pilot program, the Aquarius project, is a multidisciplined, innovative talent development program that harnesses the raw talent that young adults possess by turning their energy into real skills that makes real business profits. Now, our focus is very much more towards enterprise and value creation, with the end goal really suggesting that the individual potentially is now ready for business, or has got a skill set that businesses will find valuable, or if they're going down a chosen path towards enterprise, by going through the talent development process, they will develop the necessary skills and experience to be potentially ahead of the game, because they understand the basis on which they're going forward. They understand their business model. They understand the competition, the environment, the sector. So to look at this in a little bit more detail, it says here, the talent development framework is adaptable and can be used by different groups regardless of age or gender. The underlying philosophy of the program is to enable participants to develop their ongoing or using it as an ongoing framework for continuing personal development to meet their social, educational, entrepreneurial development needs. Now, the process is to be designed as an enjoyable skill development process and utilizes mentoring and group work to enhance the individuals or groups' thinking and understanding of what is required to succeed. And it's relatable to their lives. Whilst you may be talking about business, ultimately, we're also talking about this within the context of personal development. And the program is positioned to be transformational, and it seeks to significantly impact not only on themselves, but by them going through the process of understanding what it takes to be successful in business, that they too can be impactful on the local economic development. Because, you know, what do businesses want? They want workers who, you know, have got a heads up or tuned in as to what is needed for business to be successful. Equally, this is going to help organisations who are seeking to invest in society in order to help people move forward. So, you know, this program or framework is going to be attractive to a number of parties, a number of organisations or people in different sectors who are all aiming to pull in the same direction. And that's where it kind of feeds into a concept of collective impact, which we can talk about later. So part social and informal education, both employment and enterprise skill development, the program facilitates individuals or groups on a talent development program to stimulate their higher selves, because it's not void of looking at values and morals, and helping them to chart a pathway to becoming the most valuable asset they can be to themselves and others. Now, we would say that using a combination of cooperative learning, which is a way of working with groups effectively, personal coaching and mentoring, participants will be trained in developing a personal development mindset. So very much them owning their own personal development, taking a responsibility for civic contribution, understanding that they're a member of society and what they do contributes to society, and enterprise empowerment, again coming back to that concept of value creation. Now, this is to embody a motivational mentoring process. And this is where I think talent development starts out, because if you think of the term talent development, that suggests that the individual, excuse me, I'm going to run out of, I'm at risk of cutting off because my computer's at 1%. Just hold on 1 second. Natural pause. When you're doing a presentation, make sure you've got. When you're doing a presentation, make sure you've got enough power in your computer. Always helps. Yeah, excuse me there. Yeah, I was talking about the concept of talent development. When you think about the word talent development, it really talks about talent, that intrinsic talent that person will kind of brings to the table. And really the process is to help them develop that talent. It's not necessarily the finished article. The framework is help them to understand, how they can develop that initial talent into to become highly skilled and proficient and knowledgeable, and develop a degree of expertise in their chosen field. And it's very much about focusing on what their goals are, or the direction they want to go in. And on our website, we've got the concept of talent is broken down by Damian Marley, Bob Marley's son. I think that's so apt the way he kind of like frames it, because he talks about outliers. Malcolm Gladwell's book, which talks about 10,000 hours, that usually most people who are famous for their success have usually been through 10,000 hours of practicing and honing their skills. So it very much relates to that concept. And we're looking within this program to apply that philosophy, but in a way that is accessible to the groups that you're working with. So core to it, like we said, looking at the enterprise side of things, is to gain a comprehensive understanding of the business world and enabling them to acquire demonstrable skills and knowledge relevant to the digital economy that will benefit them, because we're saying that most businesses now are touched by the digital economy. You have to have in business today a digital business model. So by having an understanding of that the digital business model, you're going to be of value to any organization or business that is working out there. Now, I talked about collective impact, and collective impact is really kind of like a highly structured partnership model where you can bring kind of like different elements together, whether that's the local community, professional organizations or non-profit organizations and private sector organizations or philanthropic organizations, to look at effective ways of moving society forward and scaling that in the long term. And we believe that this type of program especially enables that to happen, because it's got it can be applied in many different instances. So here I've kind of like got a slide here which kind of like shows I'm hoping that you can see this on the screen, but it shows where you can have a local business partnership, schools, youth offending, community groups, local authority, or even a housing association coming together to deliver various elements, or at the same time working in partnership and doing their bit to move the whole thing forward. So the project outline in this instance is focused on four strands: personal development, civic contribution, enterprise empowerment, and in the field, which effectively is a placement at another organisation. And the personal development centres on how to develop the knowledge, skills and aptitudes, and to be responsible for that, or in your own personal development going forward. Civic contribution is focusing on gaining a historical model perspective of politics, power and reasoning, looking at it from, let's say, the UK political infrastructure. And when we say that, we're not just talking about the political parties, but how it applies in terms of the local authority, central government or government departments. Also, and how it applies to business governance. Also looking at reviewing and understanding organisational politics and conflict resolution, understanding when you enter within an organisation, it has its own dynamics, which manifests in certain ways, and it's important to understand your position and how that might impact on you. Then there's enterprise empowerment, which again I talked about, understanding value creation, and that you have to be creating value in some way. The business has to create value in terms of the products and services that it offers to the audience or its client group or its consumers. You as an individual, if you're working with an organisation, you have to be providing value to your team, the business. Again, if you're not providing value, value is not going to be sustainable in the long term. So elements of that is understanding what differentiation is, business or profit, marketing as education, developing value in people. And participants will look at managing money, negotiation skills, understanding sales, digital marketing, and the psychology of money versus morality, and how this this applies. You've got many corporations now looking at how they operate ethically, and how the consumers especially in this technological age, you can access information a lot at a fraction of a second, are now interested in terms of organisations that they work with and on what they represent. So all of that stuff is very important these days. And then in the field, which is really thinking about how to network, how to develop business relationships. We're thinking here about getting placements for individuals and how through the skill set that we've helped them develop in, how to apply that within a placement setting. So, the protocols of communication and correspondence, how to hold a meeting, make a presentation, or even in certain instances, how to make a sale, make an offer, or close a sale. So those are just a kind of like a sneak preview into the framework that we're advocating, and we've got a number of pilot projects taking place, and we're looking to work with other organizations and groups to deliver this framework, because we believe it can add so much value in the space, especially people working with people to develop people's skills at a number of levels, and they're very interested in engaging with organizations out there who are interested in taking some of the ideas that we put forward. So thank you for listening to the presentation. I hope that my screen, you can see the document that I had for you. It's not just blank, but there's a lot more detail to be looked at within this framework. We've got a fully blown curricula that can help you develop it in whatever area that you're operating in. So for those people who are interested to know more, we have on our website the opportunity for you to book an appointment to create an online conversation, so we can have a session, look at your local situation and see how we can take it forward. Thanks for listening to the presentation. My name is Khalid Mir from Mining Housing Partner Mining Sustainable Solutions. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.